Happy Wednesday, everybody, and welcome into the Gramlich and McLean podcast presented by Ingles, the official supermarket of Gramlich and McLean. Mac, it's been a minute since we've really featured Virginia Tech on this podcast. Last year, we didn't as much for a variety of reasons. Main variety was just not a lot of wins, but Virginia Tech coming off a big win over Pittsburgh. There's some new life into this program, and they have a massive game this weekend. So it's time to talk Hokies. And I feel like every single weekend I look up and you are in Blacksburg.
Both things are true. I love Blacksburg. One of my favorite places.
It's a great college town.
Environment is nuts. Great college town. And here's the issue you run into. This is how you know it's a great college town, which is fortunate and unfortunate for a variety of reasons. I'm going to give you two examples here. I'm going to give you the first example was 2 years ago, I think. We're in Blacksburg. Love it. Amazing. After the games, you're a little hungry, especially if you like do something and you're missing, you miss a meal, whatever. Yeah. You're hungry after the game. So I'm with my brother, Cannon, my brother-in-law, Cannon, and he's a big guy too. He's also hungry. So we're like, we got to get something. It is 1:30 a.m. There's not a lot open.
Cookout?
There's a cookout.
Gotta be.
We found it. I'm like, yes, this is awesome. You've been to Virginia Tech, right? You're familiar with the landscape. So we're coming downtown, million people everywhere. And we get to the certain point where cookout is still a bit of a ways away. Like it's a walk, but it's a ways away. That's where the line to cookout started.
Mac, this sounds like Clemson.
It is. It's just like Clemson for Clemson listeners. And I'm like, not doing that. So we go to bed hungry. This past trip, Friday night, I've got my other brother, Isaac. Ike Smith is up there. Eichenstein hanging out with me. It's Friday night. We had a meeting late, so now we're behind the 8 ball. It's 9 o'clock. I'm like, gosh, we're going to run into just the same thing. There's a Mellow Mushroom on the corner. Love Mellow Mushroom. Big guy. Love it. It's an awesome place. It's jam-packed. So I'm like, I just jump out. I'll find parking. He gets out. I'm driving around, find a spot. Relatively close, was happy. Park, getting out of the car, get a phone call from him. I'm like, uh-oh. He either is telling me where he's sitting or something wrong.
Or hour and a half late.
Oh, you would think that. You would be wrong. 2.5 hours is what they told him.
Oh,
I said,
my goodness.
For what? For pizza? How? So, yeah, I don't remember what we did. We found something else that wasn't there.
This sounds like Clemson.
It does. They're very similar in that regard.
That would happen at both the cookout and the Mellow in Clemson.
I don't know how I got onto this, but I did. And I love Virginia Tech. It's the best.
I thought you were going to say the other thing that it's a great college town is it's impossible to get to.
Yeah, it is. Well, I just drive. I like driving.
Well, driving's easy, but if you're flying, it's impossible.
Yeah,
Roanoke, things what you do most likely. But it is gorgeous. That campus is beautiful.
Yeah.
And those fans are freaking awesome. We talked about a little bit on Monday. You were there for the game, Mac. The atmosphere looked electric on TV. Yeah. And Virginia Tech dominated a game. It had been a minute since Virginia Tech had dominated an opponent, especially a league opponent.
Right. And the fun part about it, I've watched the entrance from a variety of places, like ran through the tunnel with Eddie, which was amazing. So I did it from the center of the field. This last time, though, we did it from the student section, and it was lit. It was so fun. It was so fun. The singing, I mean, when the music stops and they're still going, it's
that's the
really
coolest part for me.
It's powerful. It's super powerful. And like you said, they blow these guys out. I mean, the first touchdown, it erupts. I hadn't heard it like that because reasons.
Sure.
But it was great. And then just the continued beatdown. I mean, nobody left. It was packed out. It was a lot of fun. So always love KG going to Blacksburg.
And we're going to talk with the QB of the moment, and I think very much in his corner to keep this job for sure. And Kyron Drones coming off 5 total touchdowns against Pittsburgh. We're going to talk to him in a second. But first, Mac, I have to alert the people that a video is coming that Mac and I did about our sponsor, Ingles, the best in the business. And let's just say the creative juices were flowing, okay? I feel like a youth like Kyron Drones, for example, is going to like this video on TikTok or wherever else you're looking.
Is this
Facebook,
going to
whatever.
be our number one video? First of all, don't say youth and then say Facebook.
I was trying to hit the whole demographic, TikTok and Facebook and Instagram.
We're going to have my mom and Jacob are going to like it. That's where we are.
That app that Dwayne Carter told us about that we didn't even know about.
Yes. What?
That
Oh
app.
yeah. What was that? Yik yak.
But
The fake yik yak.
yeah, the fake account. I don't think this one's going to blow up maybe as much as Riley Leonard dunking, which you still got to, if you missed that one, go watch it on
Shout
our
out Riley.
YouTube. But we had fun, and that's all that matters, Mac. We had
Did
fun.
have fun.
And we're talking tailgate food. We're debating this or that with tailgate foods. There's one that we strongly disagree on. And of course, we encourage you to get all your tailgate foods at Ingles. But go check out this video. Let me know. Let me know if it's a hit with the youths and the olds, whatever. And we'll get to Kyron Drones after this message from Ingles.
At Ingles, we're proud to work with hundreds of local farms and businesses in the communities we call home. Not only does it ensure that you get top quality, fresh items for your family table, it's a way for us to support the amazing individuals who pour their heart and soul into delivering the very best they can do. Quality, freshness, community, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Kyron Drones, the man of the weekend, ACC quarterback of the week. Man, great to have you. Thank you for making some time for us, brother.
Of course. Thank y'all for wanting me.
I got to tell you, so I ran into your pops at breakfast, and I told you this story on Saturday, but I ran into him, and he's looking at me. I'm wearing VT stuff. I just worked out, and he's like, man, it's got to be a former player. You say, oh, when'd you play, big dog? And I was like, oh, no, I'm here for work. I played at Clemson. He was like, oh, cool. I have a son that plays for Florida State. I'm like, all right, this is going to be bad. And then, he tells me things. Also, my son plays here, Kyron Drones. I'm like, no way. So we talked for 20 minutes, find out everything about you. So I got all the deep, dark secrets. But one thing that was evident to me, Kyron, was y'all's relationship has to be super special. What did that mean for him to be there, for your first home start? I know he tries to get to every game, but that seemed to be really important for him.
It was very special for me. It goes back to like just high school. When we won like a state championship my junior year, it was his first, like he'd been to state as a coach like 3 times before. And it was his first time actually winning it with me as a starter.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like a surreal moment. And then just him being at my first home game as a starter for Virginia Tech and my first ACC opener and us getting the win, put like the cherry on top. So like it was just a surreal moment for me. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I would say that's like a movie right there. That's you couldn't script that any better. And you mentioned your dad being a coach, so you grow up the son of a coach. What is that like, and how did that shape you into the quarterback you are?
I was like, he just helped me with a lot of things, especially like football help you with life. He coached me through that as well. Just everybody assume like we talk about football all the time, just the fact that he's a coach, but it's really not like that. We talk about football as little as possible outside of the field, just because like he's a D-line coach. Never really coached quarterbacks before. He only trained me to be a quarterback, but he never really coached that position. But just him being a football coach, my grandpa being a football coach, that was his coach back in the day. Both of them just taught me a lot of things, just how to deal with things like things you can't control what you can control, and don't let outside things get in the way of that, and just to keep going.
I love that. That's a full football family tree right there. It's in your blood. And we did mention, so you're talking about high school and you're from Texas. I'm also from Texas. We got to talk about this. Kyron, the East Coast is a lovely place. I love it out here. I've lived out here now forever. I miss the Tex-Mex. And I'm not going to lie to you. All right. It's not going to get better. Like unless you and I open a Torchy's franchise together and we get that going. But
it's an NIL deal.
Look, I'm just throwing it out there. Is that one of the things that you miss?
I mean, yeah, Tex-Mex a lot. I just miss Texas in general, from the weather to Tex-Mex to everything. Just Texas and moving to Virginia out of nowhere is just two different things for real. And then Tex-Mex, I would say outside of wings, that's like my favorite food. So like not having like a good spot out here is like a real issue.
Right,
yeah.
Right. That's brutal. I can't imagine. I feel
you're
very
in my
bad.
Prayers. You're in my thoughts,
you and KG, displaced Texans, just trying to make it out here. But let's talk about that a little bit, Kyron, because I do think it's fascinating, man. Again, talking to your pops, I got all the insight. I'm sorry for bringing it up here, but he was going back to your recruiting days as a high school guy, and you were looking at some other programs, and really wanting to stay home, wanting to be close to home was important to you. Then, of course, this go around, you chose Virginia Tech. why was Tech the best fit for you? How'd you come about that decision? And yeah, just I guess the story there with how this came about.
Starting back recruiting out of high school, I was like growing up, I always told my family like I want to be out of Texas. Like I just want to like see what's different. And then when it came down to making that decision, I realized like I never had a game where I didn't have a family member there. So I knew like outside of high school, I wasn't going to be ready for that. And I just wanted my family to see me play. So I decided to stay, and then things didn't work out there. So I knew this time go around, it don't matter where I play. If they come to one game, all the games, it don't matter. I just want to play, and I got to do what's best for me. So Virginia Tech, they were just on me from the jump. When the portal opened, Coach Bowen like flew out there the first day, flew to Baylor to come have lunch with me. And then he was on me ever since. And then I just like that we had like the click of a relationship off the rip. And then we just clicked. And then when I came here on a visit, I just loved it here. So I committed on the visit.
The portal is wild. I mean, it's got to happen fast, not just for the coaches, but for you, for the players. You're kind of getting recruited all over again. And we've both been to Blacksburg. We both love Blacksburg. I can understand how that place, you visit it and you're thinking, okay, this could be it for me. Take me through fall camp and kind of working your way into this quarterback room and then to this Pitt week where it's your show and you guys get this big win. What has this overall process been like for you?
Fall camp, this overall process has been relieving in a way. It started off like stressful just because the fact like you in a quarterback battle, like you didn't come here to be a backup, and then you're just trying to like not think of that like too much during camp, but that's still in the back of your mind. So that's what I was dealing with in fall camp. Like at first I was trying like to be too perfect and not just focus on me and like just do what I can do. And then I kind of let loose until then, and then the coaches made the decision at the end of fall camp. And then we won the first game. I was happy with that. And then the second game come, Grant falls down, and then it's my time up. Obviously, I didn't get the job done at the end of that game. But then Rutgers, I get my time to start. And then I feel like ever since then, I've been gaining confidence more and more, being more comfortable with the offense, being more comfortable with the team. And then Pitt week, been the most confidence I've ever been. And the offense wise too, like that was our best week of practice, and I'm glad we was able to start off 1-0 in conference play, and we just trying to do the same this week.
Yeah, man, that's amazing. And first of all, appreciate you being real, because that's a crazy thing, man. When you're going into a situation and you're expecting to be the guy, and things work the way they do, and eventually you get to where you want to be. But I felt that confidence too, man. And just watching you and seeing you in warmups and the way you played the game, and one of those first plays, I mean, you're launching it downfield. Your guy scores a big touchdown. I know how cool that was. I want to ask you about the environment in a second and how that was, but just going in and game plan wise, I'm not asking for X's and O's, but it felt like from your perspective, you kind of took a step back and said, let me get back to this game being fun. Let me be the game that I grew up playing. And it just felt like you were super free out there playing.
Yeah, when we got the game plan starting last Monday, coaches told me the plays that they looking at, what they seeing out in the Pitt defense, and I love the game plan from the start, and then just working out it in practice, making sure people are aligned where they were and doing their best each and every day out of practice. It just helped along with the game plan and made sure that, yeah, we can go out there and do this. Like, we can change the narrative. Like, we don't have to just be losing every game.
Right.
And then Saturday came, and I just woke up on that time, like just confidence, like through the roof. And then when the game started, like you said, like when the game get back fun, like that's just how it came about to me. I never showed, if you ask anybody, I never showed that much excitement, like scoring touchdowns, all the celebrations I was doing. I never done that in my life. Like high school, like I've never done a celebration in my life. So like just me showing that emotion and it finally coming out, it was just all good moments.
How was the penalty running?
It was good. I mean, it wasn't.
And you enjoyed it at that point, right? It's all good, baby. It was worth it. It was worth it.
Yeah, but yeah, I had 25 penalty runs with the unsportsmanlike and the intentional grounding.
Yeah. Oh no, I forgot about that one. Oh no. All right, so I got to ask about the entrance, man, because again, I know you've seen it. And, you've obviously had a home game. We were there. We were at your first home game. But being the guy and being QB1 when you run out of that tunnel and it's packed the heck out, it's a whiteout, it's a conference opponent, so they're even more juiced. What is that feeling like, man? Because it's growing on me more and more every time that I go there.
Yeah, when I first committed here, that was the first thing my dad looked up and showed me, a YouTube video of Inner Sandman, and I've never seen nothing like it.
Yeah.
Like at Baylor, they don't have nothing like that. And then go back to the first ODU game, it was live, just actually seeing it for the first time. And then, like you said, when you know you're the guy, it's a different feeling. And I could feel that different feeling just coming out there, seeing the whiteout, seeing all the fans go crazy, and then I just running out, do a full 360 to see everything and be like, yeah, it's go time.
That sounds like an incredible feeling to be on the field and experience that, and knowing these fans are there for you. I mean, they're there to help you get that win, and you guys did that, obviously. Let's look to Saturday, a massive matchup for y'all against Florida State, one of the best teams in the country. If you look at Vegas, Kyron, which I know you do not do because that is not your job, nobody is really thinking the Hokies can go down there and win. What give us, some thoughts so far? I know it's just early in the week, but how excited are you for this opportunity?
I'm excited for the opportunity. I know the offense is excited. I know the whole team is excited just to go out there and go to Florida State and try to pull off an upset. Me personally, I love being an underdog, and I know nobody in the country but Virginia Tech is thinking that we're going to win this game. But as long as we stick together like we've been doing, we can show people that we can pull it off.
Kyron, how can you guys build off of that momentum, maybe even more specifically defensively, because that was the best game we've seen from you guys. It was a total package. Offense is hitting big plays, scoring, running, throwing the ball, but also the defense was playing lights out. And I know Coach has probably been preaching that time and time again. How can those guys build off this momentum and really be ready for this matchup?
Just to keep doing what they did and do even more from last week. Last Saturday was just we've been showing all season that we've been showing glimpses of the team we could be. And then last Saturday was a game we were able to put it all together for 4 quarters. And I feel like we can do that again as long as we focus on each day, focus on each play, and just know what we got to do for each play each day, and then just get better every day.
Are there any keys that you see for your offense against this Florida State defense?
We just got to, like I said from last week, we just got to have confidence in each other and then just go out there and do what we know we can do. It's about us. It's not about Florida State. Like, we're not focused on what Florida State doing. It's about what we can do, and we just got to not shoot ourselves in the foot anytime in the game and then just go out there and do what we do.
No doubt, man. Well, hey, we're excited for you. We appreciate you joining us, man. Good luck on Saturday, and we'll be watching. Maybe we talk to you post-game, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you, too.
Thanks again to Kyron Drones for joining us, being able to join us after we had QB meetings and probably just a super long day. We know that student athlete life, class,
that's probably
practice,
this has to be the latest student athlete interview we've ever done. That was impressive.
It wasn't too late, Coach.
Not late. No,
Coach Pry. It wasn't too late.
Coach Pry, we know you listen all the time. It wasn't that late. But I was like, okay, big dog, appreciate you making it happen for us. It was big time.
We really appreciate that. And Kyron was great to talk to. And he's playing really well. That Pitt game was a breakout game for him in many respects. Great efficiency, 5 total touchdowns, using his legs, not turning the ball over. You're going to need to do that against Florida State. Virginia Tech travels to number 5 Florida State on ABC this Saturday, 3:30 p.m. And I alluded to Vegas, Mac. Florida State right now is a 24-point favorite. That's a pretty high line for a league game for a team that's coming off a win in Virginia Tech. Florida State is coming off a bye. Mac, we didn't really have byes like this in basketball, so I don't know how you deal with this, but is there a rust factor? Like, is that something that we should be looking at for Florida State?
Yeah, there's a couple of different ways to look at buys. And I think the way that Florida State, obviously, fans or whoever, should look at this is you should be very well rested after that Clemson game, which was emotional, physical, kind of licking your wounds in a W and getting ready to go to make this big push for the rest of the season. The other way you kind of look at it is if it is before a big major top 5 opponent. And then you got that extra week, you're gearing up, you're ready, also getting healthy. But the biggest thing is health. And there's kind of, people that look at it differently. Would you rather it be middle of the season, end of the season? Coach Rick said it, well, if you're playing a bunch of dogs, you want it at the front of the season, which FSU did with LSU and Clemson, in the same month. So, probably perfect timing for them. There is a little bit of that, I don't want to say hangover, but that can exist.
I think
you're not
that's
playing.
a real thing.
Yeah, you're not
especially
playing
coming off that kind of win.
Right, because there's some teams that, man, you're so hot, you just want to keep going. You want to keep playing. You don't want to sit down. You don't want to do anything. So it's going to be interesting to see how FSU comes out. I was talking to EJ earlier. I really, man, I just have high expectations for FSU to kind of take off like a rocket ship. I think that once they got over that hurdle of Clemson, they're going to take it to another level. But Virginia Tech, listen, if they didn't do what they did against Pittsburgh on Saturday, I think this line would be way bigger. And I probably would feel even more confident about it, if that didn't happen, but it did. Kyron Drones looked amazing. Daquan Felton looked awesome. The defense looked awesome.
The run defense, which is going to be huge in this game.
Yeah. So what do we want to do here? And Virginia Tech team, historically, with great defensive backs, able to make plays. Now they're going to have their hands full here with these great receivers, but man, you just have to think, what if, right? And so the other big thing that I think about, KG, and we'll break this all the way down on Friday, of course, y'all, but mobile quarterbacks can give teams fits. And what we saw with Castellanos at Boston College against Florida State was issues, trouble. How can Virginia Tech replicate that? I guarantee they're studying the heck out of that film saying, we can do this. We can replicate this, what they did. How, though? How are we going to be able to do it with what we have, who we have? And shoot, man, look out. If they can, maybe it gets weird. Maybe it gets uncomfortable. We'll see how I feel on Friday.
Well, and, Kyron didn't give us too much of the game plan, which, of course, he shouldn't. But talking about, he was saying this is about us. And I think they feel confident that they can put together a good plan for this defense with Kyron Drones. Here's my question, Mac, and this is a little more about Florida State. But I think Virginia Tech fans will be curious to ask this question. Maybe they're yelling it in the car as they're listening or on YouTube or wherever. Can we just say the quiet part out loud that Florida State has not looked good for 2 weeks in a row?
What?
Like they haven't. Boston College, they almost lost that game. If BC doesn't have 50 billion penalties, they might. And then Clemson, yes, Clemson is a better team than their record and played really well in that game. But Clemson should have won that game. We all know that.
Yeah.
So Florida State's coming off 2 games that they won that they probably shouldn't have.
Yeah.
And no one really wants to talk about that. Everyone's saying, oh, it's fluky. They're going to be fine. They're getting a bye week. They're getting healthy. But when does this come back to bite Florida State? And really, which team can make them pay for some of these mistakes? That's the question.
You know what's funny about you saying that? It really makes me think about the 2015 team that I was on, because there were a couple of different times where we should have lost. I think about that Notre Dame game. There was a lot of different weird things that happened when Notre Dame had the ball, not when we had the ball. And that came down to a 2-point conversion stop to get a big W there. Just off the top of my head, I think Louisville was an uncomfortable game.
Yeah.
There were some weird games throughout that year that people probably sit here and said that, but the key was we found a way to win. We got it done.
Correct.
And we got all the way to the national championship. So I think that is the biggest indicator for me, obviously, right now, KG, is I believe teams in other years lose these games, especially last year when they were a 10-win team. This team hasn't. This team has found ways. And, I think the leadership, the culture that coaches brought in and really got all these guys to buy in. So many transfer. I mean, that Clemson game for FSU, I think I saw a stat where all but 1 yard, and I don't know who it was. I should find this. Every yard except for one was transfer players. And so you have to think about. That's wild. It is wild. How
because Jordan Travis is technically a transfer.
Right. Even though he's been there 5 years, he was at Louisville for 1. He is a transfer. And so all that's fascinating to me. So that's what I was kind of talking about. Do we see now that they did that, do they wake up and it's like, yeah, it's go time? We'll see. We'll find out.
But should the BC game
they're back home.
Been a wake up?
I think it's just different with Clemson because I think they were looking at Clemson the whole time.
Okay, gotcha.
And Clemson's a great team.
That's a fair
Clemson's
point.
A great team. Yeah,
that's a fair point.
We'll see. They're back home. I know they're excited, and it's going to be a fun matchup. I think, especially with drones, you just don't know.
I think the main theme of what I'm saying, and I still think Florida State's very, very good. Don't get me wrong, but they've shown some vulnerabilities.
Sure.
And you heard Kyron mention the word confidence as well.
Right.
Confidence is so important
No doubt.
in
No
this
doubt.
sport. And FSU coming off a bye, can Virginia Tech, if you can stay close early, can you force some mistakes?
Right.
Can you make this a ball game? I'm intrigued, Mac.
And you know what's funny about the just that statement? They've looked vulnerable. Who hasn't in college football? I mean, this is going to be such a fun year. Nobody is just outside of Washington. Nobody is just blowing people out. Nobody's blowing people out again, except for them.
Michigan, who has played maybe the worst schedule in the country.
Yeah, but come on, I don't believe in Michigan.
Well, that's my point. Is they might be right there. Play nobody.
Yeah, they might be right there. So that's why I think this is going to be so fun. And again, I just think about that 12-team playoff. How cool would it be? How cool would it be this year when it seems like there's a lot of balance?
Part of me likes how much these games matter.
That's right. No question. No question about it.
Call me a traditionalist.
That's right. Well, we won't have to worry about it for in a while here. So it's coming. It's coming. Can't wait. I also can't wait for Friday, guys. Tune back in. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to give you a ton of picks. We're doing okay. We had a bad week. Everybody
has one bad week. All right.
One bad week.
We're fine. We're still killing Vegas.
So just like some of these teams, we're going to take off right now. This is the time. Jump back in. We'll break it all down on Friday. Back to kind of a more normal week. We got a lot of games and a full weekend. Cannot wait. So we appreciate you guys joining us. Again, big shout out to Travis, SID over at Virginia Tech, and of course, Kyron making it happen. We appreciate you, big dog, for joining us. Also appreciate Ingles, our great sponsor, our great partner. Couldn't do this stuff without them, and we have some fun stuff coming down the line. Like KG said, that video, you got to go check that out. But there's some other cool stuff coming down that's going to be a lot of fun. We need you to go over to YouTube, subscribe to our channel, join this fun party, and also leave some comments. It's fun to see some people arguing, KG, back and forth about their teams.
Keep it respectful.
That's right. Keep it respectful.
But I love it. I want people to get into debates. It's great.
You can get a little raunchy. I won't tell anybody. And also, of course, on Apple Podcasts, rate, review, subscribe there as well. We would greatly appreciate that. But until next time, we'll see y'all.